I think we've got to start respecting the fact that in the wake of Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua not materializing, we have got to realize that the internet is just a landfill of shit. Pardon my French. Endless daily updates about coulds and maybes isn't news. Being told that a fight is closer, is a week away from happening, is a day away from happening, that isn't news. Now, I know a lot of channels and a lot of smaller independent boxing channels, they monetize their channels, they want to get going, so they'll keep giving you every little bit that's considered relevant in the moment. But you're actually degenerating the sport, because when we have the attention and focus on all this meaningless stuff, we're overvaluing things that aren't worth anything. We should only care if fights are official. Do you know how many pointless videos have been made over the past half year about whether Joshua Fury's going to happen, and now it's not happening for the foreseeable future? What was the point of all of that shit? It's not worth anything. Who's going to go back and watch those videos now? All that attention of, oh, what's happening now? What's happening? You're like that friend nobody wants to hang around with. He's like, oh, what's going over there now? Can I go over there? No, unless a fight has a solid date, a location, everything is locked in, and we've seen the press conference and they're doing their training camps, then let's start giving big fights attention. I often just type in boxing news on Google and it just gives you the latest heavyweight tweets. I don't care. And I'm a huge boxing fan. Tyson Fury against Anthony Joshua is a fight that needs to happen. It's a huge heavyweight fight. It's not as big as Ali Frazier won, like Bob Arum, but that's more of the hyperbole, the sensationalizing of trying to believe every part of this era is the best. No. And fans, invested fans, don't deserve to have their investment and their attention punished by being told every single day that something's going to happen, something's going to happen. Meanwhile, a lot of guys who just have belts and aren't even big fighters, they're laughing because they get on these channels, there's ad revenue, people are getting paid, and nothing's happening. So the whole Joshua Fury saga, it's just no, man, it doesn't deserve that kind of attention. Again, so much of the internet produces stuff that is not news. All those little updates, what did they lead to? A fight that didn't happen. It's kind of the nature of the beast, but again, is the fight official? Is there a location? Is there a date? Has there been a press conference? There should be those 3 ticks first before we start talking about it. But let's try and be a little bit optimistic. Joshua against Usyk, it looks like now, because Fury is probably having a third fight with Wilder, this fight may happen in September. And it's a really good fight. From Usyk's perspective, because he's actually he's 34, he's quite a bit older than Joshua, and he's the guy who has to rely with the fleet feet, the agility, so he does have to get a move on. So this fight has to happen ASAP for Usyk. He needs his big shot. It's a really good fight, and out of all the top guys, certainly between Joshua and Fury, Joshua I think is the guy Usyk could give a lot of trouble because of his stiffness, because while Joshua does everything quite well and crisp, he does things quite kind of basic as well, and a lot of people have mentioned how he has a discernible rhythm after he jabs while he moves. He has a certain little swaying to the side. Usyk is a much better natural intuitive boxer, so I can definitely see his style giving Joshua all kinds of trouble. But will he have the physical strength, and will he have enough speed at heavyweight, which you can see is a little bit diminished from his cruiserweight form? Will he have enough of the fleet feet and the movement and keep it up for 36 minutes that he can thoroughly bamboozle Joshua? Because that's what he's going to have to do. And maybe exhaust him, get a TKO stoppage later on. Maybe wishful thinking. Joshua's got a lot of experience now, so he can look for the clever shots, and he's always got that great uppercut. Once he recharges, he does tire, but when he recharges and he comes back, he's very dangerous. Fury should be fighting Wilder in the rubber match. Nobody wanted it, but it's going to happen. That clears the road for Usyk, who was going to be fighting Joe Joyce, I heard, but now Joe Joyce is going to be fighting Carlos Takam. So boom, surely now this lane is open for Joshua Usyk. And it's not a bad consolation prize. I'm exhausted, I'm bored. And again, I send out the message to, we should not be supporting the endless non-news for Joshua Fury. But as a consolation prize, Usyk Joshua is pretty good. Even if he only fights once this year, which seems very likely now. All the talk of Fury Joshua 2 fights this year, I always knew that was very fanciful. Now we're not getting one, but Usyk Joshua, very good fight. I'm not sure who I favour at this point. I'm going to have to give it a think. I'll give it a proper prediction once it gets made official. But what do you make of this fight? If the ages were more that Usyk was 31 right now and Joshua was 34, that would be better. That's what you want to see for a guy who's going to be relying on agility and speed. The fact that Usyk is a bit older, that he had a little bit of an injury, didn't he, when he started experimenting with weightlifting. It's not an ideal lead-in for the Ukrainian. But he's got a lot of belief himself. He's not going to be going in with a script. He will be going in to win. So that's what makes this one compelling. And if it's just going to be one fight in a year, I always say it's better for world champions to have one really meaningful fight in 12 months than two okay ones. So, tough fight to call. Who do you have as the favourite if it does go ahead in September?